ただいまより林外務大臣の提
We will start the minister's press conference. The floor is yours, Minister. There are three initial remarks that I would like to make. The first one, with the cabinet decision this time, MOFA's top management personnel affairs were determined, and they will be officially announced on the 10th of August. We will distribute the material. Mori Takeo, Vice Minister, will be retiring, but he worked extremely bravely and hard under very turbulent international situation with Russia-Ukraine war going on for the past few years. He has led both policy-wise and management-wise. I appreciate his work. And his successor will be Okano Masataka, Assistant Deputy Cabinet Secretary. And his successor will be Ichikawa Keiichi, who's foreign policy DG right now. And his successor will be Kobe Yasuhiro, North America DG, and his successor will be DG South Asia, Arima Yutaka. Yamada Shigeo, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs, will be attached to Minister's Cabinet, and his successor will be Funakoshi Takehiro, DG for Asia and Oceania. His successor will be DG Asia, Oceania, new DG Asia, Oceania, Namazu Hiroyuki, who's now DG for Economic Bureau. His successor will be Katahira Satoshi, DG Counselor for International Affairs. And the top management will continue to work hard.
Regarding 2025, TICAD 9 is scheduled to be held, and it has been selected that Yokohama City will be the hosting city, and the details will be coordinated with the relevant parties.
And we have made a cabinet decision for the signing and the promulgation of Japan-Australia troop cooperation facility agreement. This agreement is to clarify a procedure and legal status of the activities when each country visit each other in terms of their troops to facilitate the cooperation activities between the troops and to enhance interoperability. Japan and Australia share basic values, strategic interests. We are special strategic partners to each other, and the first partner for this type of agreement is Australia, and that signifies the close relationship between Japan and Australia. With the agreement in place, we hope that Japan-Australia security and defense cooperation will further be promoted, and peace and stability of the Indo-Pacific solidified. So please ask questions. Come to the microphone. Igarashi from NHK. So regarding OSA, I have a question. According to media reports, Vietnam, Mongol, Djibouti, 6 countries will be the target, and related budget of 5 billion is going to be formulated. Coordination is underway. So what is the progress of OSA about the coordination status for the next year? For this year, Philippines, Malaysia, Bangladesh, and Fiji will be the countries who will be covered by OSA. And so to enhance their capacity for surveillance, patrol, and maritime security. So we will be providing equipment as part of our assistance for capacity building, and we are commissioning an outside company for specialized research for ASEA project for next year. We would like to look at the significance of providing assistance in terms of OSA objective, the needs of the countries that we assist, as well as economic social status of each country to consider what is appropriate. With respect to a request for the budget, we will look at the significance of Japan's security needs, as well as the needs of the relevant countries, and we are now in the process of discussing what the right size is as MOFA.
Yomiuri Shimbun, please go ahead. This is Yoda from Yomiuri Shimbun. At the start, regarding the personnel announcements, this time, Mr. Okano, who is going to become
Assistant Deputy Cabinet Secretary, what are your expectations?
Regarding the individual personnel decisions, I would like to refrain from commenting. But based on their experience and capabilities, we have based the decision based on the appropriate personnel, the appropriate position at the G7 Hiroshima summit. We are launching this strong message of our position to the world. And in addition to that, recently, the Southwest Asia and Africa are the nations that I have visited, and I felt that we are expected by the nations of Japan's leadership. And within that environment, the G7 Hiroshima summit included the outcomes that we have achieved till now, including that with Mr. Okano being in the new position in a broad sense, we would like to respond to various diplomatic activities. Next questions, please.
田田さんどうぞ。
Kyodo Tsushin, Katsurada from Kyodo Tsushin. About your initial remarks about TICAD at MOFA, you're soliciting applications for the site. Why did you choose Yokohama? It's the fourth time to host the meeting. You have just visited African countries. So in terms of Japan's African foreign policy, what is the significance of TICAD once again? So about Yokohama, it was selected as the site for TICAD, but well, there were some referrals and inquiries made. We solicited applications from around the country, but Yokohama was the only country who filed application. So accommodations, convenience of access, it does meet all the conditions and requirements for convening TICAD. And continuous exchanges with African countries and broad range of activities were engaged in with Africa. And in the past, Yokohama has hosted TICAD for 3 times. And because of these circumstances, we chose Yokohama. As to the significance of TICAD's framework, in 1993, TICAD was established for about 30 years for Africa to take ownership for its own development. That's been the spirit with which we have been proceeding. So Africa Forum, there are many of them involving a number of countries, but TICAD has played a leading role in promoting Africa. In August last year, Africa Development Conference, TICAD 8. So Japan as a partner to grow together with Africa, investment in people and quality of growth. These are our policy points. For the long term, Africa is expected to grow. That is the nature of the region. So cooperation with Africa, not just Japan, but for peace and stability of the region and for the whole international community, Africa is going to be crucial. So in my visit to Africa, that was kept in mind, and I was able to engage in very fruitful exchanges. So as Japan, we wish to promote TICAD's process further, and Japan-Africa relationship that we have built, we would like to take it forward further.
宮本さんどうぞ。
TBS, Miyamoto-san, please go ahead. This is Miyamoto from TBS. Thank you very much. You have visited foreign countries. Thank you for visiting during a long time. Regarding Africa, you have visited 3 countries, and regarding Russia, there are countries that are not in the same position as Japan. Regarding Russia, what kind of discussions have been going on, and what kind of alignment were you able to achieve? And if there were any gaps, what are your thoughts on filling in those gaps? Japan held the presidency of G7, and the so-called the global South countries, we have placed importance of enhancing the relationship with them, and we have been implementing various initiatives. And visiting these countries as times was part of that effort. And within each meeting, and we have had joint meetings and had an exchange with the heads of these nations. And we have been working on the stability and maintenance nations of the order of the world and to have confirmed strengthening the relationship. And regarding the Russian invasion to Ukraine, we had discussions. And the conclusion by Russia of transporting Black Sea grain initiatives has been completed, and the impact of that, the concerns towards that we have shared, and towards the resumption of that, the international society needs to solidify and response to this matter is what we were able to reconfirm. And given this outcome, this time, once again, we would like to further enhance the collaboration.
上地さんどうぞ。
Uechi-san, Asahi Shimbun, go ahead. Uechi from Asahi Shimbun. So a typical Fukushima Alps treated water. I have a question. Based on IAEA's report, the Japanese government in various international conferences is explaining about this. Have you gained the understanding of the relevant parties and the international community? And if you are planning to have further improvement measures, please share them with us. So the safety of Alps treated water. Based on the conclusion of IEA's comprehensive report, the Japanese government has been explaining about this on the occasion of international conferences and bilateral meetings. We have been providing meticulous information and utilizing social media, SNS. We are proactively providing information and explanation about Alps treated water. The release of Alps treated water is in line with international rules that is supported by IEA report. So UK, US, Australia, and New Zealand have immediately expressed their welcome for IEA's report. And South Korea also expressed its respect for IAEA's report. And Fiji said that the report is reassuring in eliminating concerns about the release. And NPT review conference, first preparatory meeting that is held in Vienna, Germany and Czech. With respect to IAEA's initiative, they have expressed support for IAEA's stance, and it seems that the international community's understanding about Alps treated water is broadening. So objectively and accurate information must be provided in order to gain further understanding of the international community about the safety of the treated water. That is most crucial. So from that perspective, based on scientific evidence, we are to provide most accurate information, and that is what we continue to do.
津田さんどうぞ。
Katsurada-san, please go ahead. This is Katsurada from Kyodo News. At the 18th of this month, they're scheduled to have a summit of Japan, U.S., and South Korea. So can you elaborate on the content of that? For myself, if all the schedules will allow, on August the 18th in the United States Camp David, I would like to accompany Prime Minister Kishida that will be attending the trilateral summit and scheduled to visit from the 17th of this month. I am coordinating that. And for myself, nothing else is planned other than attending this summit.
Asahi Shimbun. Uechi from Asahi Shimbun. I have a question about Japan-China. On the 12th, it's been 45 years since the agreement between the two countries. So mutual respect for integrity of territory and so forth. Do you think that the intent behind the agreement is still observed? And what will you do going forward? So as you know, this year marks the 45th anniversary of the peace treaty between Japan and China. So in 1998, there was a joint declaration between the two countries. In 2008, joint communique. In 1978, Japan-China peace treaty. Based on its spirit and policy, we have been seeking to develop bilateral relations, and our position in that regard remains unchanged. Between China and Japan, there are many possibilities as well as challenges and concerns. But based on what we have built over the years, the summit that we had in November last year, we would like to continue with the momentum that was built. What needs to be asserted will be asserted. We will seek responsible action on the part of China. We will continue to build dialogue, and we will cooperate on issues that are common to both. With efforts of both countries, we must build such a relationship. So at various levels, we would like to continue communication with China.
桂田さんどうぞ。
共同通信桂田 last question. This is Katsurada once again. And regarding visiting the Yasukuni Shrine on the August the 15th, the day that World War II has ended, are you planning to visit the shrine? I would like to make appropriate decision as one of the members of the Kishida administration. Thank you. With this, we would like to conclude the press conference.